President Trump just changed his mind again. We were supposed to see Chinese imports into the United States slapped with a massive 145% tariff tomorrow. But this afternoon, President Trump signed this executive order delaying those massive tariffs for another 90 days. And this may be good news for TikTok. So before we talk about that, here's the president earlier today talking about why he may be delaying these tariffs again.
The China tariff deadline is tonight, but do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard. They have tremendous tariffs that they're paying to the United States of America. And we'll see what happens. They've been dealing quite nicely. The relationship is very good with President Xi and myself.
So he's saying that trade negotiations with China have been going well. And because his personal relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping is very good, jacking up the tariff to 145% right now would probably pour cold water on a potential deal and all the goodwill that's being built between the two countries. Now, that doesn't mean there are no tariffs on China. You heard Trump talk about it in that soundbite. Right now, imports coming into the United States from China are being hit with a 30% tariff, which U.S. importers are paying for. That's why prices on things like electronics, furniture, toys, and little gadgets are going up for you. Just imagine what those prices would look like with a 145% tariff. Now, because of today's order, Trump and his administration will now have until November 9th to reach a deal with China before those 145% tariffs kick in. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening with TikTok and how today's announcement factors into that. The facts are this. We still do not know what is going to happen with TikTok. There is still no official comment on the record from anyone involved, including from the White House or TikTok, about the future of the platform, which definitely feels a little weird because we're only a few weeks away from the deadline. But what we do know for sure is TikTok is part of these negotiations between the U.S. and China. Certainly not the most important part, but TikTok staying alive in the United States is definitely on the table. And as I just mentioned, we also know for sure that unless something happens by September 17th, the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act will kick in and TikTok will disappear in the United States. So today's tariff delay and Trump's statement about how good the relationship is with China indicates that, at least for today, Trump is less likely to just say on September 17th, to hell with TikTok, let it die in the U.S. Right? If he's going to be negotiating with China until November, he probably won't want to throw a wrench into those talks by letting TikTok go dark. Now, that does not mean things won't change. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, at least today, and we all know Trump can change his mind, this tariff delay is probably a good sign for TikTok.